All right, guys. So I spent most of the day underneath the car, and I am still not done. There's actually a lot more working on it. I thought there was. I'm trying to get the underneath the car ready for bed liner to get sprayed on it. Uh, so there's lots of little stuff I got to fix. But anyway, I thought I'd show some custom stuff I've done to the car and just kind of give you an idea of some of the things. It's going to make it stand off from everybody else's car. Um, a lot of these are my ideas I come up with, and some or others I've got ideas from. Um, anyway, when I got this car, it was a basket case. It was in pieces, didn't have any glass, no motor, no tranny, no drive shaft, no wiring. I mean, it was in a million pieces. The guy delivered it to me. It had primer on this side over here, and when you looked under it, I could see a seam where it was cut right up through here around the gas door and over. And they also cut it right down and around and back. All of this whole area was off another car. It was overlapped, brazed, and filled with filler, so it actually had a kick up to it. So I ended up putting new quarters on it. And this whole section here is out of a four-door parts car I had here, and the trunk floor as well with this inner. Now I took the trunk floor apart just like factory and put it together at the pinch weld, other than I butt welded it up through here. It's all butt welded and ground, and this is butt welded as well, so it's on correctly. Now from the factory, there's a lead seam here, there's a lead seam down the back, and there's a lead seam here. All those flanges got cut out, and I hand formed sheet metal and I butt welded it in, and everything is completely butt welded solid sheet metal. There's no lead seams. So that's pretty cool. I spent a lot of time just doing that. Anyway, the tail lights, if you've ever put new quarters on your 55, you'll notice when you put your tail light bezels on, nothing fits right. So I actually cut this all to pieces back here and made the bezels fit the body. So that was tons of work just doing that. Now the 55 is the only Tri-5 that had a gas door in the quarter. In 56 and 7 they were back here. But they have a triangle notch here for your finger to open the gas door, and I actually built a piece of sheet metal to fit in there, welded it up, and I welded a flange on back here. I actually have a magnetic clicker to click it open, click it close, so I still got my 55's gas door, but it is a little custom. I smoothed the door jambs as well. The door jambs I wanted just as slick and smooth as the rest of the car, so it all got completely smoothed out. They have 3 indents here, and they're evenly spaced and stepped. It looks really nice, but they have an off-the-wall one down here. It doesn't really match these, so I welded sheet metal in it and got it all smooth. Also, there's a big rectangle dimple here for if you had factory power windows. That was cut out and a deal slid in and out. I welded sheet metal in there and got that done. The door hinges I completely took apart. These things are cut very crudely. These are a little dirty. They're cut very crude. I leveled them off, beveled the edges, drilled a speed hole and chamfered it. There will be silver paint that I'm going to be putting in here for a little added detail. The hinge faces here are actually blocked out and smoothed. I've got some nice stainless countersink bolts that'll go in there. What else? I mean, everything is all smooth and put together nicely. I did a big smooth job on the firewall. Lots of custom stuff going on here that you would never catch. I mean, never catch it. This is actually steel bar that's fully welded in here, and it gives the appearance of a bead roll because I've sharpened the ends to a point. This was fully welded top and bottom with spot welds. It took me about a month to do this firewall, and so it all is molded in, and it hides that factory seam where this is separate from this. But I welded up just about everything that's unused. I did do a pad here for my flexible transmission dipstick, and I did it at an angle. Everybody does it, screws it to the firewall, and it's straight up. I like to just lean over the fender and grab it and pull it to me, so that's why I did mine at an angle, just a little bit different. This is actually wire hanger right here from like the dry cleaners that you get your clothes back on, and it's all beveled. Gives it appearance of it's standing off there. And that's for the wiring harness to go through. I do have a convoluted rubber loom thing that goes on there. And everywhere that the factory firewall pad would have went on and actually the clips come through the firewall, I welded bolts to that backside to the hole. I welded the head from out here and ground it smooth, and then I put a couple tacks on the inside as well. So the factory replacement firewall pad actually bolts on, and I've got big washers and acorn nuts that I painted black, so they kind of disappear. I cut the forward body mounts down. I do have covers that completely bolt on here and hide this and the sides, and those look nice as well. I welded pipe caps in, and they're stepped from large to small. There's 3 of them, so it looks really nice. This is an indented spot from the factory right here, and I welded in a piece of sheet metal and rolled the edge to match this. So it's because I'm using an automatic, so this I didn't need it for the 4-speed rod, the clutch lever rod. I also did a lot of stuff going on the dash here. It's I've done some videos on this stuff before, but there's a lot going on here on this dash. Now this is what's called an autotronic eye. This was an option in 55. It automatically dimmed your headlights. So I actually got one off of eBay, and it's from a Cadillac, like a 54 or 5 Cadillac. Now the head is 2 pieces. It's pot metal, and it's actually the same exact part number as the Chevrolet. The bases were different because the dashes were made different. So I used muffler pipe. I actually stepped on it to oval it, and then I split it at the back because they are teardrop shape at the back. So that's how I got the teardrop shape in and molded it into the dash. But the head actually screws on. I took all the guts out of it, and I made it a shift light. All the guts for the shift light are in it. So now when I get to my RPM that I want to shift at, the light glares off the windshield. It's not any different than having a shift light aiming straight at your face, So anyway, the wires I extended, and I have an insert I made for my glove box, and it has the dial in it with the indicator with the numbers on it. So that's kind of cool. It gives appearance of a factory option, and it's actually you doing something different with it. These are exhaust tips from Pep Boys. If you got an air conditioning on your 55, this is about where the air conditioning pods would have went. They were chrome. But anyway, these are speaker pods, and I welded them in and welded some metal mesh in there for a speaker grill, basically. I have 3.5-inch kicker 2-way speakers that actually bolt to the back on studs. So it'll be kind of neat. Because, these cars, their idea of surround sound back then, that's the speaker right there. It took a 6x9 there, and it took one over here on this end, and I've actually got 2 6x9 speaker holes now. So now I'll have actual, 4 speakers in here. But the dashes are made in 2 pieces, and it's all fully welded up here, and so it's all smooth looking. Now, one thing that I did right here, you'll notice these have a flip down ashtray from the factory, and there's a divider right here. Well, I took that out, and I built some tabs over here that look just like factory, because your little rubber bumpers go in here, And so what I did was I took the face off the ashtray and molded it in, and it has a folded edge just like factory, and also cut out the back of it, and I've welded solid metal in there because I don't like those cup holder indents. But so now it's basically an extended glove box door. I actually started to do that to a 56 four-door I had a long time ago, probably 2012, I think, and I just never did. This is the glove box door that I started to do that to. And I got the idea from the 90s. It was a Hot Rod magazine, and it was a 55, and it was a Pro Street 2-door post, and it was turquoise and white. And they had that extended glove box in there, and I always thought that was really neat. He had a switch panel inside there. It was pretty cool. But I've actually got a metal insert I made, and a radio goes in there and stuff. So anyway, I actually cut the ends off the dash, recapped it. I have the same exact gap between where my garnish molding comes up here and meets this. So it's the exact same gap as the doors. And I actually had to take the dash loose from the body and bend it to match the garnish molding on the door, so everything would be perfect. Because it just didn't line up very good from the factory. If you ever see these cars at a car show, you'll notice the garnish moldings never meet the doors. What else? Let's see. So I've got like my headlight switch, the holes right here. I actually welded an L bracket to the bottom of the dash, and the headlight switch is hidden in here, and you just pull down on it for headlights. Now, I bought reproduction of the dash trim with all the little bow ties. That's part of 55 Chevy, and I had to have that. But none of it has holes in it, so it's all solid. You know, people's been using these for quite a few years now. I just thought it was very clean, but it still has the original look to it. But I got the ones that doesn't have the hole for the headlight switch, so it's all smooth and it's all bow ties. I thought that was kind of cool. Also, another option on these cars was the tissue dispenser. It was a Kleenex dispenser, and it bolted underneath the dash, like so, and it kicks out on a pivot, and you can get a Kleenex out of it. So I actually welded sheet metal in there and welded a sheet metal on the back, and I did 2 little cup holders, and now it's a cup holder. And I had to redo the mounts on it and actually welded them to the dash so it'd come out straight, because these actually pivot upward when you pull them out. But I've got it to where it comes out straight. But instead of a tissue dispenser, it's actually a cup holder. And it does clear the glove box door to put your sodas in there. I am a soda drinker. I like Pepsi and Mountain Dew in the cans, so those fit that perfectly. I got those off eBay, and they're shallow so they don't hang down past. But anyway, I'll paint that back the hammer tone gray, just like the heater box assembly when I go to do those. Let's see, what else? So your factory cowl vents are right here. There's 5 of them, and that panel screws on there. And I actually welded nuts in the body, and so mine actually will bolt on. But the thing I did different was I cut this area out, and this is out of another hood. There was a salvage I knew of, and I had a crashed 55 Chevy hood in the front. It was folded up, man, but the back of the hood was still good, so I cut that rear part of the hood out, and I welded it in here. So now my hood peak in the center of the hood goes all the way back to the windshield molding. Now the hood does stop. The peak stops about 1 inch before, so I used a leftover section of that hood and extended the hood peak and then capped it in the back. So it is completely all the way down. But I still kept my cowl vents, so I'll have fresh air in the floors. Summer nights with your floor vents open on a 55, man, it is so nice. I love it. You get a lot of airflow through there through them cowl vents, and I sure wasn't smoothing them and getting rid of them. Also, these are just cut half moon right here, and I actually welded sheet metal in here for tabs. Just another detail to go unnoticed, you know, but just lots of little work stuff, and that's why it's taken me 6-something years to build the cars, because I've built so many. I mean, it's not a drop in the bucket of all the pieces that I made for this car, but that's just some of them. But anyway, I got to get my gas tank put in just for mock-up. I got to mock up the bend in the fuel line to where it goes to the, I got to cut it and flare it and all that crap. I want to get that done, and then I'm trying to figure out how to route my battery cables from the body over to the chassis. So I'm just, lots of little stuff I need to do under the car. It's probably going to take me a couple days, but I thought I'd just do a video of some of the stuff I did to the body, and just kind of give you an idea of what all I did. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go eat dinner.